fast, or are we at 10:30? Where is everybody? Good morning out there in YouTube land. Thank you for being with us here at Unity of Flagstaff. I'm Reverend Penni Honey. If this is the first time you're checking in with us, welcome. If it's your second, third, fourth, or however many times, welcome to you also. All the information that you need about the ministry, of course, is on our website at www.unityofflagstaff.org. Hey, if you're not getting our newsletter, let us know. Office at unityofflagstaff.com. You can email us at office at unityofflagstaff. So do that, and we'll get you on that e-letter. We'd like to stay connected with you. And of course, as you are so inspired, we appreciate your ongoing financial support of this community. And you can donate on that donate page. Thank you for checking that out. Welcome, my friends. Today we are talking about what do you see? So let's look at that together. Blessings, my friends. Enjoy.
can see it up here too, right? Yeah. Well, then we'll deal with it, however it is. Oh, here we go.
All right, so as you are comfortable, please stand. Welcome to Unity of Flagstaff. Looks like we're on Sunday Light, right? That's all right. All right, stand as you're comfortable. Welcome, Bernice Lewis. Round of applause.
Thank you so much.
And this song and this service is dedicated to our dear friend Keith Green. Yeah, it is. Yeah, so here we go. Bernice is with us all the way from the East Coast. Yeah, look how special we are.
Still somewhere over Kansas. You ready?
We were born ready.
That's right.
All right, there we go.
Cat Kelly, looking mighty pale. That's an intro. Standing by the sheriff's side. When that sheriff said, I'm a-taking you to jail, Wildcat turned his head and cried, oh, give me land, lots of land under starry skies above. Don't fence me in, let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in, I wanna be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please, don't fence me in. Just turn me loose and let me wander over yonder where the purple mountains rise. Whoops, on my cayuse, on my cayuse, let me straddle my old saddle underneath those starry skies. I wanna ride to the range where the west commences, howl at the moon until I lose my senses. Won't look at hobbles and I can't stand fences. Don't fence me in. Okay, join me in the middle part here. Ow! 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 Just turn me loose, let me wander where the purple mountains rise. There you go. On my cayuse, let me straddle. On my cayuse, let me straddle my own saddle underneath those starry skies. I want to ride to the range. I want to ride to the range where the west commences. Howl at the moon, howl at the moon until I lose my senses. Won't look at hobbles and I can't stand fences. Don't fence me in. Ow.
And have a seat. Now, how many times on Sunday morning do you get to go to a spiritual community and go, ow? So today, instead of saying, give me an amen, I'm going to say, give me an ow. There we go. Welcome to Unity of Flagstaff. I'm Rev Penni Honey. Take a deep breath with me, will you? Now take one for me. Yeah, there we go. I am Rev Penni Honey, and you have landed at Unity of Flagstaff. Welcome, if this happens to be your first Sunday with us. And, of course, I'm looking right at you, Bo. And don't forget, they've got some propaganda for you at the door, and if you didn't get it, I want to make sure you do because we like to stay in touch. Let's all wave at the camera as we welcome our YouTube people. There we go. Yeah. Here at Unity of Flagstaff, we like to remind you that it really is about tools, not rules. Oh, okay, give me just a moment. There we go. Yep. She does that every Sunday. It's because I have the best seat in the house. That's what it is. And the divinity that I behold is overwhelming from moment to moment. So thank you for that. Unity is founded Unity is founded on prayer. Affirmative prayer. Now you can't pray wrong, because I think Spirit's got it figured out. But what we do encourage is that we affirm the good, the potentiality, the power that resides within us. And we do that in a lot of different forms here at Unity of Flagstaff. You can ask a prayer partner. I have prayer partners in the room, right, that are here to support you in prayer. Thank you for that. Powerful team, powerful team. If that's not comfortable, leave your prayer request over here in the prayer box. We will hold it in confidence for 30 days. It also goes off to Silent Unity, where it's held in chapel every day for 30 days in prayer. 1-800-NOW-PRAY. That'll get you to Silent Unity. Speed dial 1. I'm just saying, put it on speed dial 1. And, of course, you can always contact us here at the community at office at Unity of Flagstaff. Speaking of praying, let's do that. Let's just do that now. I'm going to make a prayer request right now. I want to be connected in the room. Can you hold that with me in this moment? Can you see that with me? That we're connected and we're grounded, and that Spirit leads, and I hang on. So we're grateful for the power, because in the asking, it is done. And we lift this time and this space, that all feel that sense of connection, that knowing, that place of absolute, pure oneness. So we give thanks. As it is done, it is done. Amen. Thanks. I felt that. So our principle today, we're doing it a little different. You know how I like to mix it up a little bit, right? So let's recite together the unity principle, number 3. Thoughts have creative power to determine events and attract experiences. And the short version is a question. What are you thinking? Now we're going to settle in for some meditation, but first we're going to share our prayers and gratitudes. So we'll be right back to you, Bernice. Yeah, I'm okay. Okay, I'm here now. Sorry. I was having a little problem getting in the room. Anybody ever have a day like that? Right? Where you think, no, I'm in this day. No, I'm not. So I'm in the room now. Here we go. So it is time to share our prayers and gratitudes and celebrations. We would love to do that with you. Thank you, Alan, for being my lovely assistant. And handsome assistant, handsome, lovely assistant. And do you have a prayer request or a gratitude you'd like to share at this time? There we go. You got a customer right there. There we go.
Gratitude for that wonderful event up at the canyon on Thursday. That was so amazing to see all of Keith's friends, Keith and Nancy's friends from years and years. And loved the stories they told too.
So I think most everyone in the room is aware of this. Our dear beloved Keith Green made his transition, and we had his celebration of life at Shoshone Point in the Grand Canyon on Thursday. And that's the reference that Marcia is making. That's why I'm a little verklempt today, right? And because I'm standing in a room of people that love me and support me, and sometimes just don't be nice to me. Because this is what will happen, right? No, I don't mean that really. So, Thank you for that, Marcia, and it was stunning. That's what it was. Bernice was with us. She did music. Ryan was with us. He did music. About 85, I think, 85 or 90 people were there at Shoshone Point. Yeah, yeah. How about that? Anyone else?
I actually was waving at Emerson, but I just wanted to. I really was. I really was. It was an incredible experience on Thursday. I will never forget that.
We're celebrating, and we are affirming that, and there is healing in it. Anyone else? Hi, Norm. How are you?
Thursday was a very special day for me. I was not able to go because it was Carol and my wedding anniversary. We were married decades ago on the 20th. So my daughter, God bless her, she took me up to the cemetery and left me alone so that I could share my love with my beloved Carol. She would have been here if she had lived. Dang it. Excuse me. Thank you for listening.
And Norm, I just want to acknowledge that it is that kind of love and commitment and connection that helps to heal the planet. I know that it helps to heal me, and we appreciate you bringing that to us and sharing. And we celebrate however many decades that was. Anyone else? All right.
Well, I too am in huge amounts of gratitude for this community, for, to do something so sweet and wonderful, to one of our community, and to have so many people show up, and the lovely things everybody brought, and the beautiful canyon. It was mesmerizing. It was, yeah. And I stole up there. Everybody has stuff to do, and we, of course, understand people that couldn't make it, but if you were there, it was a very profound, beautiful experience. And I have Penny too. She worked so hard on it, as well as all. There was a lot of people that supported that event for the people that came, and we all tried to do a little something, and that's all it takes, right? Just do a little something, and it worked. So, I also wanted to. Well, I was reluctant to ask for this, but. I recently purchased a property that's adjacent to those 500 acres that are sold to developers that are just south of I-40 and west of 17. And I just, I've done a little bit of, when I first heard about it, only, right after I moved in, I heard 3 days, one of my wonderful neighbors showed up at my door and said, oh, by the way, that land that all your view that is your view is going to get sold in 3 days. And I went through oh my gosh, so anyway, I did what I could, but sometimes you have to let go. So I noticed it was the front page of the Arizona Sun, so I wrote a letter to the editor, and that's about all I'm going to do, probably, unless I find some little way to try to promote. Because I see all those animals outside my window in the morning, and I see, that beautiful forest. And the article said, oh, the land isn't pristine, and to me it is. To me, it just is gorgeous, So I guess my prayer is that land in the future is used for the good of all. Thank you.
Give me land. Give me land. And Suzanne, we stand with you, whatever your position or thought about that is, because the invitation, at least from where I stand, is about accepting and trusting that the good resides within this condition and we look beyond the illusion of anything else, and we see the good in it, and we continue to affirm it. Yeah. And that coming easy and peaceful. Anyone else?
I was also hesitating to share this, but I will. I am taking a very big step career-wise to doing something that I love and feel passionate about and that I think is very needed, supporting speech and language development for young children in this community. And I had a meeting with a school this past week, and they really want to bring me on, and they're really excited about what the possibilities are, but the funding is very low at the moment. So they are hoping to gain, they're a charter school, so they're hoping to gain some more enrollment that will allow that funding to come in so that the work that we are looking to do can happen. And I'm just hoping that you all will pray with me that the right thing for the children and for me and for the school will happen.
And I'm going to affirm with you, dear one, that it already is. Right? God's substance everywhere, all the time, at the same time, moving us to our highest expression. And we see that surrounding this condition. And we release the fears and the what couldn'ts or what might not happen. And we step into a place of knowing that we are aligning with our highest expression. We see that for you, for the school, for funding, and for our children on this planet. Yes. Okay. Yes.
I got one.
That guy
Sorry.
with the camera back there's got a microphone now.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna hide back here and talk. No, just asking for some prayers. It's my dad's cousin who we have two houses right next to each other that we all grew up in down in Oak Creek Canyon, and so we're this big happy family. Kathleen Riley, the kind of like a second grandma growing up. Beginning of the year, she was diagnosed with ALS and is rapidly declining. She's getting close to 80, and it's a struggle for her and her family in this rapid transition, and just trying to make things as easy and comfortable as possible for her. So I know as of right now, she's currently down at the creek enjoying the beautiful nature around her, and so prayers for her, Kathleen, and the Riley family. So thanks.
Thank you, Hayden. What we know is that the core of who we are is divine. That is the expression of her, and it has been since she's been on the planet, right? What we know is that whatever appears is of this particular world, and she is more than that. And it's not easy to release people slowly like that. So we see peace and acceptance and a coming together of the family, the people that love the family, the people that love her, the coming together so that healing can happen with ease. And we're affirming that with you now. Yeah. All right, how we doing? Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. So what we know is everything that's been asked and spoken into this space, we know that it is in divine order. We don't always know how it's going to turn out. And to release and not be attached to the outcome, knowing that the universe is ever supporting us into our greatest expression. And each one of these conditions are surrounded in that light. And we allow that to be present. We allow that to express through us. And for that, we give great thanks. So thank you. All right. Would you get the lights for me? We're going to go into meditation now. Deep breath. There we go. So we're going to settle in. This is an original by Bernice Lewis. Stones in the Canyon. Rest, my friends.
I don't know how to tell you how much you mean to me. I cannot seem to find the words in the languages we speak. So I've called upon the canyon, the river and the creek, because they seem to know that we play hide and seek when the earth shakes. Bones break, we go separate ways. Oh, but someday, one day, we will all be stones in the canyon. At night the sky above us has a million tales to tell about the ones who tried to fly and the ones who fell and the ones who carried ashes up the trail to the plateau to scatter prayers to the winds and let the spirits know that the earth shakes. Bones break, we go separate ways. Oh, but someday, one day, we will all be stones in the canyon. You like to say we'll come back as ravens, floating on the currents in the air. But it's down here deep below where I always long to go, away from all the madness way up there. We only have a little time to feel what we must feel, and a limited capacity to understand what's real, to find the answers that our bodies knew all along. And the best that we can hope for is to stay strong when the earth shakes and bones break. We go separate ways. Oh, but someday, one day, we will all be stones in the canyon. Even her rushing down the street can't really say what she means.
And we feel that connection to all that is. I invite you in this moment to breathe that in. No separation. We are one with the mind and the heart of spirit. It is in this place of knowing that we heal. It is in this place of remembering that we recognize our oneness. From the smallest grain of sand to the grandest of canyons, we are one with all that is. So we pull that knowing in, deep breath. We feel the strength. We feel the healing. And we rest. In this moment of quiet, we rest. And in this rest, we honor our divine true nature. And that of all others. In the resting, we connect. And we give great thanks for these moments. And we breathe deeply. And we release. And we say thank you. And so it is. And so we let it be. Is this your a cappella one? Mm-hmm. It is.
Lift my head to the sunlight and the wind and the rain and the snow. My brothers and my sisters nearby stake their claim. Oh, when we go back to a time when the rivers had no names. For miles beyond measure we flourished green and tall. The shelter we provided, it was sacred to the small. They could walk or crawl or creep or fly. To us it's all the same. Oh, when we go back to a time when the rivers had no names. Those wheels you've discovered, they're If you'd like to slow that, take a look inside, my friends. Go and find your place of stillness. Our advice may seem mundane. Oh, but we go back to a time when the rivers had no names. We go back to a time when the rivers had no names.
You can applaud. Thank you, Bernice. All right, so I was getting myself all together, and then this little one over here in the corner hands me this stone. And it says love on it. Thank you, Emerson. Right? Okay, that concludes our service today. Oh. All right. So I'm going to start out with a joke. That'll get me on the rails, right? A man went to an eye specialist to get his eyes tested, and he asked, "So, doctor, will I be able to read while wearing these glasses?" And the eye doctor said, "Well, yes, of course. Why not?" And the patient says, "Oh, how nice it will be because I've been illiterate for so long." So what do you see? What do you see? What do you see? Do we see with our eyes? Do we see with our brains? What do we have the ability to create in our mind's eye? Can you desire your highest expression enough to see it? Are you aligned with what the divine and the rest of us see in you? Are you aligned with that? What world do you want to experience? Can we interpret our experiences in such a way that with each thought we are moving ourselves closer to our greatest expression? James Allen wrote the coolest little booklet called As a Man Thinketh. If you don't have one, get one. There may be a couple on the shelf over there. Ask Dixie. She knows all the books over there. As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. This is what he says. Mind is the master power that molds and makes, and man is mind, and evermore he takes the tool of thought and shaping what he wills brings forth thousands of joys and thousands of ills. He thinks in secret, and it comes to pass. Environment is but his looking glass. What do you see? What do you see? You know, our eyes do a really good job, for most of us, of capturing light from the objects, right, around us. And then it transforms those images into information. But our eyes don't actually see anything. Now, our dear friend Keith was diagnosed with a medical condition from the time he was born. He had an issue with his optic nerve. I'm not going to get into the big long names and even act like I could pronounce any of that. But what I am going to remind us of is that it's our eye. Our eyes don't see. Our brains do. I had a friend, and he was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. And you'd say, "Hey, Earl, hand me that cup." And it'd be right there, and he'd go. And he couldn't hand me the cup because he no longer had a point of reference of what a cup was, but he had 20/20 vision according to his eyes. Ever have an experience like that in your life? Ever try to find your keys when you know exactly where you put them? You know exactly where they're supposed to be, and you can't see them because you have already decided where they are. Ever? Am I the only one? How about your phone? Let's do phones, right? Right? And you can't see it because you've already come in with a predisposed idea and you know exactly where it is, and you don't, obviously, because you still don't have your phone or your glasses or your keys or your shoes, right? Anybody? Science tells us that these electrical signals travel from the retina through the optic nerve to the brain. And then the brain turns these signals into the images that you see. Is there any wonder that we all don't see things the same way? No, I'm telling you, some days that distance from the image hitting my brain and me knowing what it is or what to do with it is a really long distance, right? So the native chief, you've heard this story, standing at the water's edge. He can see the ripples in the water. He can see the vast expanse of the ocean itself, the birds that are darting back and forth. And he sensed that something was different. But it was not until the pilgrims disembarked did he know that they had company. He had no point of reference for what a schooner was. He didn't know what that grand mast was, so he couldn't see it. The village people thought he'd lost his mind. He kept saying, there's something out there, and nobody could see it. No point of reference. Ever look for something and can't find it? When we celebrated Keith up at the Grand Canyon this week, a conversation with his sisters netted this. You know, the tricky part about Keith losing his eyesight was we never really knew how much Keith actually was seeing. Because he had been sighted at birth, he had lots of images stored of what things looked like. So his sister said, we really never knew how much he actually was seeing, and neither did he. Because he already had these images in his mind. They were stored, and it was information. So when I would say, Keith, it's a beautiful day, I knew what that looked like to me. And Keith got to write his own story on what that particular beautiful day looked like. Sometimes it almost felt like he had a better view than I did. Because from within and where he was at and the information he had taken in, he had the opportunity to create what he wanted to see. And science tells us it's exactly the same for us, for all of us that are sighted. We are taking in images. We're taking in information. We're taking in conditions. We're taking in experiences. And we are creating what we see in them. This is not new information in this room, is it? But when Keith's sister reminded me that we didn't know what Keith could see and what he couldn't, and neither did he, I remembered one time when Keith and I were having lunch, and he said, I think I see it. And he was absolutely right about that. Because what you are thinking is what you are seeing. What you choose and how you choose to define these things is what you get to experience. Now, Our eyes are sensory organs. They allow us to see. Your brain doesn't have sensory ability. We've talked about that before. It doesn't hear me when I say, I am 5'7". It just says, okay. And I get to see myself as 5'7". Now the rest of you need to get on board. Right? Any thoughts like that in your life? How about this one? I'm just not very smart. How about this one? They just don't love me anymore. How about this one? I'm not good enough. Anybody? Don't raise your hand. The point is this. I'm 5'7". And I get to see that. Now, when I go to buy pants, that's a different story. But the point is, I can experience that in the way that I choose to see it. I have information, and I get to choose how that's going to show up in the world. Now, that seems like a stretch for me to get the whole room to see me as 5'7". And I get that. But the point is, what do you see? What do you see when you watch yourself connect with the people around you? What do you see when you think of yourself and who you are in this community, in your family, in your life, in the restaurant, in the parking lot, in traffic, getting out of this center right now? What do you see? You are creating that from the information that you're taking in. Thoughts are things. Every object and experience in the universe is a result of a thought expressed. Ernest Holmes reminds us. The thought you express. Again, I ask, what do you see? How we experience the information we take in, whether we're sighted or not, whether we have perfect vision through our sensory eyes or not. Can you, in fact, desire your highest expression enough to see it? Now, I know, I hear it. Yes, but. Yes, but what about this? Well, Penny, you're not really living with this particular condition. You're right, I'm not. Well, you haven't had that kind of person in your life. That probably isn't true. Because I may very well have. I may very well have even been one of those people in my life, right? So I hear it. I'm past all that. I've heard all that. I've tried all that. I don't care where you are in life. If you think you have tried the concept about creating your experience, I invite you into this. I can't do that. I'm too old. I can't participate in that. They don't want me. I have a phone that works. And I know how to operate it. Anybody else ever have that experience, right? So this is what I offer up to you in this moment. And even if you didn't know Keith Green, I offer this up to you. He was a legally blind interpreter at the Grand Canyon. Don't tell me that you can't see yourself more than you are. Don't tell me it's not possible. You can tell me, but I will argue with you. So this is my, I hate to say advice. This is what I offer up around that. When you start to notice that what you're seeing in your life, not only what you're manifesting, but what you're seeing before it's even manifested. and it does not align with your highest and your greatest expression, and it is not bringing you joy, and it is not bringing you peace, think green. A legally blind interpreter at the Grand Canyon, at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. This is the power of who we are. This is what we teach in New Thought. This is your opportunity to say, I'm going to see it differently. I'm going to get me a pair of glasses, and I'm not going to be illiterate anymore. I'm going to be the greatest expression that I am invited into. I'm going to honor the divine nature of who I am, and I'm going to honor the divine nature of who you are. Because every time, and I say it a million times, I probably say it every Sunday, every time we do that, we give permission to our divine nature to come out and dance in the canyon. Keith didn't just show up as an interpreter. He danced in the canyon. He lived the canyon. And no matter how his eyesight continued to decline, he could not help but tell you about the beauty of all of it. I invite you to think green. Keith Green. When you think you can't see it or you can't be it, I invite you to think green. It becomes clear. Science supports the fact that people that are born blind don't dream in pictures. They dream in sounds and tastes and feelings. And people that have their sight dream with pictures. What we know is the brain does not have an opinion about it. It wants to see with you your greatest expression. You are giving it the information, and you are creating the image and the experience that you have around the life conditions that can happen. There's a part of me that says, what is happening in the world? What is happening? What is happening? Now, does it mean that I am going to change your experience? Probably not. Does it mean I'm going to change your experience? Probably not. Because you get to have that experience that you choose to take that information in and transform it into what you want to see. Now, I know the practicality of this. I'm a very practical application kind of gal. And next week, we're going to talk about action. That's what came this morning when I was working on this message. We're going to talk about the action that happens when we start to create these visions for ourselves and we start to see our divine nature and we start to move from that place and we start to make decisions and choices. And the interesting thing is we're doing that right now. What do you see? What's showing up in your life? Interpret it differently so that it aligns with what the divine sees within you, what we see within you. Thoughts have creative power to determine events and attract experiences. That's a unity principle. James Allen again, from As a Man Thinketh. Every man is where he is by the law of his being. The thoughts which he has built into his character have brought him there. And in the arrangement of his life, there is no element of chance. But all is the result of a law that cannot be erroneous. This is just as true for those who feel out of harmony with their surroundings. And it is as true for those who are contented with their surroundings. Ernest Holmes reminds us of this. Let every thought of doubt vanish from your mind, that you may know the truth, and the truth may make you free. What do you see? What do you see? Namaste.
If it's okay, I kind of wanted to express a little gratitude. I just never have it in me when I'm sitting back here to raise my hand and always feel like this is Penny's gig, but
Oh, you were so wrong about that.
well, but I owe so much gratitude to Keith and Nancy Green for connecting me to so many things, one of them being this community, but it's the tip of the iceberg, I gotta tell you. This is a man that I can't remember when I met him, but it was at least 2 to 3 decades ago, and a couple, a power couple, and a linchpin of so many communities, many of you that came out on Thursday saw how wide the circles were, how many places people came from, and heard about people who couldn't make it that were in far-flung places. And part of it was because we talk about how funny Keith was, but we'd never talk about how intelligent he was. The way he used the IQ that God blessed him with to listen to anything anyone had to say compassionately, but always with a sort of a sense of humor. And then if there was a lull, if someone didn't have something to say, the way he kept us entertained. He was one of a kind, and I was not going to be able to make it to his funeral because, his memorial, because I had just come through COVID, and it's a long way to get here from New England. And at the last minute, I made the decision to hop on an airplane and come. And there's so many reasons that that it worked out really well. And so one thing I am incredibly grateful for is the expansion of community that started with Keith and my Grand Canyon friends and enabled me to somehow get to Flagstaff, Arizona on a bunch of airplanes, a broken car. When I got here, you know, places to sleep, food to eat, and a new diet because there's something wrong and I don't know what. So many little tiny components, all starting with everybody centering around this amazing human being who had worked with, he would never want to call it what they call it in the hospitals, you know, with a talent, I don't know, a way of seeing that none of us ever really knew what it meant. The first line to the next song I'm going to sing, and I had never talked to Nancy, his sister, about it, is no one ever knew what he saw. We didn't know. But I wrote this song about Keith a long time ago, and I wrote it because I had the great privilege. Not only did Keith work as an interpreter, but before he was an interpreter, he spent 10 years working as a grunt laborer at Phantom Ranch, you know, changing sheets. And I heard a lot of stories last night about trying to teach Keith how to cook breakfast. Really good stories about that, you know. It never quite worked out, just in case you're wondering. They were afraid of a lot of issues. But he tried. He always tried. And one of the things he had to do when he worked at Phantom Ranch was he had to hike in and out on his days off. And if you've never done that, I'll just tell you that the quick and dirty way in is only 7.5 extremely steep miles, which is what all the locals take. And the less quick and dirty is 10.5 just plain steep miles. And he did that on a regular basis. And so one time I had the opportunity to hike in with Keith. And I'd heard about it from lots of people. And I was there hiking behind him. We were chatting up a storm, and I was getting really scared because he was stumbling around a bit. And if you've ever been on that trail, you know that that's not a good thing. And so I said to him, Keith, I'm terrified. And he said, Bernice, I'm just doing my thing here. I'm just dancing on the trail. But if you really are scared, why don't you get in front of me? And that way, if I fall, you won't have to watch. No one ever knew what he saw, but some bright angel was watching over him. The colors that kept us all in awe, just broken rainbows and breaths of focus hard into his thick glasses to see a world no one else could see, and he found a grander canyon. He found a grander canyon, dancing on the trail. He took every job they would give him, scrubbing pots, stripping sheets, while the best of us were drinking and complaining. He memorized that canyon with the bottom of his feet. He knew every stream, every crossing that would lead us deeper into the canyon's heart, and he found a grander canyon. He found a grander canyon, dancing on the trail. There are miracles that go unnoticed by those of us who think our eyes are working well. Lofty castles masquerade as heaven, but you must look without your eyes to recognize their hell. Oh, he let us watch him stumble through his hardship. All he ever asked of us was that we share his joys, and he found a grander canyon. He found a grander canyon, dancing on we were dancing on the trail. Oh, we were dancing.
Hayden, did you want to share that with us?
Absolutely.
Bernice, thank you. Right? Yeah.
And I just want to say that if you have funny or poignant stories about Keith, that I'm interested in collecting them, so I'm very easy to find.
Yeah. And keithbgreen.com. You can also post your stories there, and Bernice can get to them. Hayden, share with us what you have.
During the service, just a little behind the scenes, we actually have 2 messages from Nancy Timper. Which
That's
is
Keith's sister.
Keith's sister. She says, "Hello from Nancy in Albuquerque. Gratitude for the Unity community and all the love and support for Keith. Thank you for coming on Thursday. Love to you all. XOXO."
Thank you. And Nancy, it's our honor. It is, isn't it? It's good to love so deeply. And even if you didn't know Keith and didn't know him personally, or maybe had never even spoken with him, this is the point of today's message. What do you see? And Keith's life represented that for us. That's what you're being invited into. To look, that was somebody's phone, don't worry. It's all good. Maybe I should ask, what do you hear? Oh, that'll be later. So thank you for indulging those of us who are celebrating Keith. but taking away from this morning's message, and that is asking the question, what do I see? What do I want to see? How do I want to approach this? Who am I going to be in this moment? How am I going to get blessed in this deal? That's the invitation. So, Miss Emerson, are you going to help us with those baskets today? All right, we're getting ready for our celebration of abundance. And I want to thank our YouTubers. You have the opportunity, thank you very much, by going to the donate page on our website, www.unityofflagstaff.org. We appreciate your ongoing support. We appreciate the ongoing support of this room. We are not hitting our mark in the year of 2024 yet, but I know that we're going to spring back from that. I also want to remind you that we have a little fundraiser coming, and this is how easy it is. Clean your closet. Clean out a drawer. In July, we'll be collecting clothing, shoes, bedding, linens, and we're going to get paid 20 cents a pound by savers. Isn't that cool? So you bring it here to the center. We have a day that we'll be delivering it. We'll manage it from here. Yes, I'm going to say that again. We'll manage it from here. And that is our July fundraiser. So please check that out. Be willing to be a part of that. I also would like to have you check in. Who's an amazing greeter here, even if you're not working today, if you're not volunteering today? Who's an amazing greeter? Thank you for that. Please check in with one of those folks. It's really not that hard. I heard Shar saying, wow, who set everything up? Yeah, because now you just come in and you kind of say hello, because I have a lovely assistant, right? Miss Sandra McFarland while Miss Selena's gone, so thank you, Sandra. So the greeters just kind of waltz in and they go, good morning. Okay, so let's practice. This is chair waltzing, but just practice. Chair waltzing, here we go. Good morning. There you go, you're all greeters. All right, but we could use some help out there on Sunday mornings, and the big setup, as I said, is being done. Want to bring those baskets down here. Let's bless those, as they are going to be outgoing baskets to collect all the good stuff, so this community can go out into the community and express the work and the light that we are. Together we are affirming. We are demonstrating our abundance through our generosity. In the giving, we are blessed. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Go on out there, Emerson. Go get them, darling. All right. So, would you like to do a little Don't Fence Me In? We want to get going with that again. All right. Here we go. This is the verse I've got up there. You can choose it, use it, or you can make up your own. Okay, you want to... Okay, so I can go all the way back to that if you want me to. Yeah, you want me to... All right, you guys join in on Don't Fence Me In. And as you're comfortable, stand up. And when you know the words, help her out. If you don't, then just hum. Hum a few bars.
Here we go. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. I want to be by myself. Want to be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you, please. Don't fence me in. Just turn me loose. Let me wander over yonder where the purple mountains rise. On my cayuse, let me straddle. On my cayuse, let me straddle my old saddle underneath those starry skies. I want to ride to the range where the west commences. Howl at the moon until I lose my senses. Ow, ow, I won't look at hobbles. I won't look at hobbles, and I can't stand fences. Don't fence me in.
She says, I am way too grown up for that. All right. And we bless these baskets. Together we say, thank you for these gifts. We are grateful. Unity of Flagstaff is opening minds, hearts, and expressions through our generosity. We are abundant, and so it is. And together we affirm the light of God surrounds us. We are the light. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love. The power of God protects us. We are the power. The presence of God watches over us. We are the presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Create an amazing week, my friends. Thank you for being with us this morning.
Hayden, can I pull the plug here?
So we're going to run a PowerPoint, and it's the PowerPoint that was used at Keith's celebration of life. If you're interested, we're going to run that. We really are. Is that not it? So here's the video from Keith's memorial celebration if you all want to see it.